Old Janet Yellen told a whopper recently, and we'll get to that clip, and then I've got some data after that proves that she's lying. But Janet Yellen lied so badly, even Bloat Sam Seder, the toady divorcee, even he knows she's lying. Like, let me illustrate. Like Stan's ex-wife, that's part of the reason he's not married. She knows when he's lying. She probably knows it better than anybody. And so his BS doesn't go over with her, and that's why she's the ex-wife. And in the same way, people who are informed know Janet Yellen is lying, and she knows she's lying. She's just trying to fool enough people because there are a lot of ignoramuses, most of Stan's audience, I think. His underemployed slash unemployed audience probably thinks she's telling the truth. But even Janet Yellen knows she's lying, just like Stan knew when he was lying to his ex-wife. So let's get to the clip here where Janet Yellen told a whopper. This was a big one.
To say, but Janet Yellen, to our point about how you're always supposed to be able to point to some people in the administration of the opposing party and say, at least that guy, that gal is really competent. You would think the Treasury Secretary in a moment like this, you'd hope that would be the case. Here is Janet Yellen, a lady who was pushing forward transitory inflation, what she said on ABC News, again, regime media, over the weekend. Play clip 5.
I expect the economy to slow. It's been growing at a very rapid rate as the labor market is recovered and we have reached full employment.
Clay, the economy contracted last quarter. How is she saying it's growing at a rapid rate?
She's lying. And I believe, and I think you're with me, Buck, I would at this point be very surprised if we're not in a recession at this exact moment. And for reminders out there, you are in a recession when you have 2 consecutive quarters of declining GDP. The first quarter was down, I believe, 1.5%. And the latest forecast that they are now putting out there is that we are going to have a completely flat second quarter in terms of growth, basically right at 0%, to avoid having to predict the fact that we're going to be in an inflation and in a recession. And lots of times, you know this, and a lot of our listeners do as well, you are in a recession before the data confirms that you're in a recession. And I think that's where we are right now because April, May, we've almost finished June. I would be surprised if we had positive GDP growth when those second quarter numbers come out. I think they are going to show that we are in inflation.
So Janet Yellen knows she's lying. She's lying. She knows she's lying, just like Stan's ex-wife knew when he was lying. So I'm going to go through this quickly. For the non-lockdown states, this is Iowa, North Dakota, South Dakota, demonstrating that we don't have full employment. The economy is not doing very well. Put it this way, I had the 2 time frames prior to the pandemic. Again, see the transcript that I'm going to post. That will explain it all. U.S. continued claims, this is for the whole nation, per 100,000 non-farm jobs. Continued unemployment claims per 100,000 non-farm jobs from March 27, 2021 to March 19, 2022 is still 51.99% higher than the 2-year pre-pandemic average. And that time frame, again, was March 10th, 2018 to March 14, 2020, right before the pandemic. So we're still 51.99% higher in continued unemployment claims per 100,000 non-farm jobs. I mean, we could have full employment tomorrow if everybody above 45 dropped out of the labor force. Oh, look, we got full employment. The labor force participation rate went way down. But see, so she's full up. You know what. And for the non-lockdown states, this is Iowa, North Dakota, South Dakota, Utah, Wyoming, Nebraska, Arkansas. Their continued unemployment claims for the last year, again, this is March 27, 2021 to March 19, 2022. It's 120% lower than the U.S. average, but it's 10.62% higher than the 2-year pre-pandemic average. So even those states which are doing well, and Iowa, South Dakota, and Utah are just about recovered, even those states still have a ways to go. Their labor force participation rates were 65.953%. That's for everybody. That's including everybody. Now, if you go to the lockdown states that had vicious, soul-crushing lockdowns, New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island, D.C., Connecticut, Massachusetts, their current unemployment claims, continued unemployment claims per 100,000 non-farm jobs, is 37.11% higher than the U.S. average. And they are also still 47.43% higher than the 2-year pre-pandemic average. So they have an even longer way to go. So again, the U.S. average right now is 51.99% higher than the 2-year pre-pandemic average, running up to March 14, 2020, which is right about when all these lockdowns started, especially in Democrat states that were long, extended lockdowns. Florida had a lockdown, but it wasn't nearly as long and debilitating. They still have a ways to go. They're doing better than most states, but they still have a way to go. So if Sam Seder, and he won't fall for, he's not this stupid. If Janet Yellen, she knows she's lying, and as for Joe Biden saying it is not inevitable that we'll be in recession, that is a talking point that could be uttered by a trained chimpanzee, so it doesn't mean much. Biden's mind is so gone, nothing he says should be taken seriously by anyone. So, again, Janet Yellen's full of crap. She's cheerleading for a team. I'll use a football analogy. Last week of the season, your team's 0-15 saying we're going to win the Super Bowl. No.